So you're exhibiting hair loss and you're wondering if it's due to COVID and whether a transplantation can help. Well, this is a multifaceted question. I like to walk through it step by step. Okay. As scientists, no. Now we know that hair can shed due to stress, and that during the time of COVID, a lot of people experienced stress as well as shedding of their hair. Now in this case, we know that hair tends to come back after the stress is relieved, such that if you had a small transient phase of stress related to COVID, that those hairs will likely grow back in 6 to 12 months. However, if that stress has continued, you may not have seen that hair growth return. Now, testosterone-related hair loss, the reason for hair loss in the vast majority of men is a little bit different. Remember, testosterone binds to your hair follicles, causes a progressive decrease in size over time. There really isn't a shedding phase. Testosterone-related hair loss also causes a particular pattern of balding and not just shedding overall. However, it is very common to have two types of hair loss at one time, and that one type of hair loss can unmask the other, such that if you are a male with early signs of testosterone-related hair loss, then all of a sudden you experience stress from COVID, it is very well possible that shedding phase unmasked an underlying testosterone-related hair loss. Now, when it comes to transplantation, it depends on which one of those is predominant and whether transplantation will help you. Remember, stress-related hair loss will come back on its own once the stressor is relieved, as long as relieved relatively fast enough. Testosterone-related hair loss is actually very amenable to hair transplantation because the hairs in the back and the sides of the head don't have receptors for testosterone, making them resistant. That means we can transfer them from an area where you have good fullness to an area where you have thinning. If you have a combination of the two, it's probably best to wait to see what kind of hair growth response you get. Now, if you have a combination of these two types of hair loss, testosterone-related hair loss, as well as stress-related hair loss, maybe due to COVID, we tend to believe that it's best to wait 1 year after your stressful event before considering a transplant. The reason for this is not that a transplantation will not work, it's because if we think into the future, we don't want to use too many grafts in your first procedure just in case you need them in the future.